Welcome to the GTN show.
Yeah, welcome. On this week's show, we're going to be looking at what would make triathlon even better, at least in our opinion.
We've also got a few interesting bits of cycling tech, and there's been some fast running as we hit peak marathon season.
Yeah, plus we've got updates from the pros on race calendars and new sponsor signings.
Starting as we always do with some of the stuff we've noticed on the internet over the last week, and starting with this announcement from Lucy Charles-Barclay, announcing an Ironman. Now last year she announced she was going to do the T100 series, and then she surprised us all with the announcement of doing an Ironman. She's taken a step back this time. She's announced nice and early in the season that she's going to do an Ironman, and it's her original one. In fact, the Ironman that she did the first time she ever did an Ironman as an age grouper, also the same Ironman that she went back and did her pro debut at, Ironman Lanzarote, and she's going to be racing there on the 17th of May.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, the amount of time that Lucy spends out in Lanzarote, I imagine she knows the course fairly well.
I imagine she does. She does know
and
the island
conditions,
very well. Yeah, hopefully all injury woes are behind her now, and she can qualify for Kona. I imagine it's the whole T100 series. And then this one in Kona will be her.
That's what we would imagine, but who knows?
Yeah,
Lucy likes to surprise us, so we'll keep
does.
our eyes peeled.
She does indeed.
On to the next piece of news from Roka. They've got some new big signings. Obviously, they've got Lucy Charles-Barclay already on their roster, but adding to that, they have just announced that they have Chelsea Sodaro, Taylor Knibb, and Martin Van Riel.
Yeah, all of them announcing that they are new Roka athletes for this year for their wetsuits. Did you see Martin Van Riel's post?
I did. I was just sort of flicking through the photos and oh, okay.
Blindsided you a little bit.
Yeah, that's blinding. Yeah, quite.
Keeping it real. Maybe we'll pixelate that image for you.
You've had the warning before you look at it.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Also noticed this week, Chelsea Sodaro has a new sponsor. She's another new sponsor, not just Roka.
Yeah, good week for Chelsea.
Last year we saw her, she ditched Canyon halfway through the season and then rode the Ironman World Champs on a Pinarello bolide. And now she has a new bike sponsor announced. It's Ventum, which we saw the bike out in Kona at the end of last year. She's now on the new Ventum for this year, which is an interesting signing for them. Definitely a big coup for Ventum.
Don't think we saw that one coming.
No,
but
exactly.
It's obviously what works for her. And she's got a big race coming up this weekend, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But now on to a bit of running news. It was Boston Marathon on the weekend, so a lot of eyes were on that. I think, James, you were watching it. One notable performance from Paula Radcliffe. She's been on this mission to complete the 6 majors. She did the Tokyo Marathon a few weeks ago or a couple of months ago in a 2:57. She went even quicker this time in Boston, 2:53.
Yeah, at the tender age of 51. It's very, very impressive.
She makes it look easy, doesn't she?
She does, yeah. Meanwhile, the women's winner was Sharon Getty, who actually broke the women's course record there, holding off the last two winner from the last 2 times, Helena Beery, who was going for 3 in a row. So she beat her and took the win. And on the men's side, John Career took the win, and his brother actually won it all the way back in 2012.
That's very cool.
Yeah, keeping it in the family.
Proud family there, for sure.
He actually took a nasty fall at the start line, proper tumble. Thought he was out the race, but he picked up his bib, put it in his pocket, and carried on to finish and win the race.
It's the sign of a pro, isn't it?
Yeah,
If you
very
can
impressive.
have all that go wrong and still put it together and run
very
that
impressive.
fast. In other running news, slightly less quick, but we have our first robots completing their first half-marathon race.
Yeah, did you see this? It was pretty, I thought it was really impressive, but then I thought it was a robot marathon and they ran in 2 hours 40.
We all got a bit scared.
Yeah.
I think I felt scared. I felt threatened by these robots.
Turns
I feel
out
less
it's a robot
threatened now.
half marathon. And if you watch some of the clips also, I mean, one of them fell over and
He fell over at the start as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't win the race though.
One of the heads went rolling down the pathway. Also looks like the medics had to get involved with some of them and load them into the ambulance. I think 6 robots did finish the full course, ranging from 2 hours 40 to well over 3 hours. So no one's at any risk of being beaten by a robot just yet, but maybe the future is coming.
Do they need to retrain the medics now as well?
I noticed none of them had super shoes on either. Yeah. Do robots need carbon shoes?
There's room for gains, I think, there.
On to the news, and in the news this week, Strava has announced that it has bought Runner app. Now, I've not used the Runner app. I've obviously used Strava. Everyone's used Strava at some point. I don't use it very often. But Strava has bought Runner, and Runner, only founded in 2022, has become the world's most popular running app, giving programs for people and really quite an amazing growth story. They're based in London. You've actually used Runner.
I mean, I still can't believe it's only 3 years old. It's crazy how far it's come. And when I first started hearing about it through friends and actually, started using it when I was on my return to running, and I loved it. And I never really kind of connected with an app like that. And since I've carried on using it, like beyond our partnership at GTN, and I just think there's so many others that are like new to running or just like come across it and they're like, oh, we're using this great app. So I'm not surprised that Strava have seen.
I imagine if you are very happy with the app, there's a little bit of apprehension when you hear that another company has bought it, whether it's going to get more expensive or whether they're going to change things. Well, Strava has said that nothing is going to change for the foreseeable future. They will run as completely separate apps. It will not just be engulfed into the Strava ecosystem for now. Also, they didn't announce the terms of the deal, how much Strava paid for the Runner app, but I think it's probably safe to say that those early investors in the Runner app have made out with a fair amount of money from this sale just 3 years into its existence.
I would imagine so. I mean, it's interesting, you're talking from the Strava side, because I saw all the news coming from the Runner side, because I follow them on socials as well, and they were like, we've been partnered up with Strava, and obviously not using the words we've sold ourselves to them. So I think they very much will want to keep their identity and, and the way the app works. So I'm hoping as a user and a fan that we won't see too much difference, but they're just talking about a few more
But
upgrades.
it's not their choice if Strava owns them, is it?
Sadly, it's not, but let's hope Strava got the right intentions too.
True. Okay, also in the news this week, Venice Beach has been announced as the location for the Los Angeles 2028 triathlon. This is a change from what it was, because it originally announced that it was going to be Long Beach, California, and there were some concerns with it being in Long Beach. But the IOC, together with World Triathlon, have now announced that it is going to be at Venice Beach in Los Angeles, and they said it offers a dynamic and energetic atmosphere that perfectly complements the spirit of triathlon. We are confident that this iconic location will provide an unforgettable experience for athletes, fans, and the global audience.
Do you know, I am really surprised that they have, as venues go, that is quite last minute. I know it doesn't sound it to people watching going, the Olympics are however long ago, but to have announced, and they must have done all of the recce's, all of the looking at it so closely to actually announce it initially as Long Beach, to then retrospectively find out there's something that's not going to work there to move it to Venice Beach. I mean, from the outset, it sounds like it's more of an iconic location, and I think everyone's going to receive it well. But it's just interesting, that they've made that bold statement beforehand.
There's a few things about this Olympics that this actually puts into light. They've actually decided that it's going to be a no-build Olympics, as in all venues and locations will be pre-existing structures. So obviously that's not a big thing for triathlon, because you don't need to build a stadium or anything for triathlon. But still, for all the other venues and stuff, they're not building stadiums, they're not building new infrastructure, they're going to use what's there. And obviously one of them is going to be Venice Beach. Venice Beach will also be the start-finish location for the marathon and for the road race for the cycling too.
But not any of the swimming locations for open water swimming though. So
no, interesting.
Yeah.
They have also announced, obviously, in the same announcement, what the events will be. We kind of knew this already. Individual men's, individual women's, and the mixed relay for triathlon. So 3 medals for triathlon, as we've seen in the previous Olympics.
But the programme is growing hugely. I mean, that's a conversation for another day, not on a triathlon channel, but it's going to be a massive Olympics. But one of the potential positives of this change is Taylor Knibb might be racing. You never know, because she actually, I think, just after finishing for that sprint finish in the mixed relay for that silver, she was interviewed, and one of the things she said actually was that I don't want to race around a parking lot in Long Beach. I'm told that the IOC has defined it, so if we're complacent, that's all okay. But she said there's lots of exciting races out there, and it's her choice. But if it's the direction you're heading in, there's no hills, then yes, my bike is my strength, and I'm going to own my strength. She
was basically saying, if you're going to do it around a parking lot in Long Beach, I'm not going to the Olympics in LA 2028.
So maybe she's had that sway with the IOC. Could that
maybe.
be
I mean, there's no guarantee it's not going to be around a parking lot in Venice Beach now, because it's still a fairly flat course no matter where they go around there, and there's not that much exciting hills or anything, but it isn't at Long Beach anyway, so hopefully it will be an exciting course. But it did get us discussing here in the office what we would change about triathlon. What would you change about the Olympic triathlon to make it more exciting, to maybe lean towards what Taylor's saying, put some hills in it, make it, a biker's course, something like that? That is something I would like to see in triathlon. I would like to see, in the past we've had all kinds of, they've even had short WTCS races where you just went up a hill, like in Kitzbühel, where you just went up a hill and it was only a 15k bike loop, but it took as long as a 40k bike loop because it was straight uphill. they don't really do those anymore. They were all, as to use Taylor's word, 8 laps around a parking lot. And they're all exactly the same. You could be in any city in the world. And I like to see a lot more dynamic courses in the world of triathlon where you like really have to work hard, where you've got a massive hill in it, where it's got some real challenges.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a spectator, definitely watching world triathlon racing for sure, because it does have that slight tendency of becoming a swim and a run race.
I'd say not just world triathlon. The T100 also could do with...
Well, true. But I'm thinking it's more important for draft legal racing, because, we do sort of go, onto the bike now, and then that is less exciting. Yeah. And also the Tour of the World WTCS, there aren't that many races, and it repeats and repeats and repeats every year. So it kind of like, as a spectator, not so exciting. Also, I'm sure for the racers and the strong cyclists like Flora, like Taylor. But yeah, for, I guess, non-drafting, as a participant as well, we want. But but have the courses got more boring because we want fast courses because we want to do a PB?
No, I think well, at least for elites, I think they should definitely do harder courses. The other thing, obviously, as we're talking about the elites, would be better coverage.
Yeah,
I think this is something that people have been going on for 20 years about, and I mean, there's no real excuse not to have it. I mean, I guess what I mean by that is better tracking. Because if you think about it, you watch any distance of race, but particularly long distance races, if you have time splits every 5 kilometers, you can see who's moving up and who's moving back, and it starts getting exciting. You can predict what Cam Wirf's going to do by the end of the bike course and see how far ahead he's going to be if he carries on at this pace, etc. But you don't see that if you only have a timing mat every 30 kilometers. Then what you do is they cross the timing mat and you go, right, well, I'm going to work in the garden for an hour and then I'll come back and see when they get to the next timing mat. So that's something I would definitely change about triathlon.
Yeah, I think along with that also just telling of the story of what's happening in the race, and just the commentators being given the information that from the ground, because so then they can relay it to us. So
we're risking a little bit political here, I suppose. But I mean, we could also, if I had my magic wand, improve the annual calendar so that they all kind of work together towards the same goal, as opposed to what we're really seeing at the moment, T100 versus WTCS versus Ironman, where they're all kind of like competing for athletes to start and also for athletes to prioritize their series. Some coordination in the world of triathlon would not go amiss.
Do you know, I also think for spectators outside of our bubble of triathlon, a little bit more clarity on event distances, because if you try to explain to someone the distance of triathlon, who knows nothing yet, and then you've got Sprint Olympic. Now we've got the T100 thrown in there as well. We've still got World Triathlon having that long distance in between distance. And I mean, how do you describe that to someone who's not from the sport?
So you want just 3 standardised distances, what
maybe
you're saying.
Something like that. I think.
But then you've also got a point here where you say you want more distance options. So
for
which is it?
The athletes competing, the age groupers, to get people into the sport. I think we've got 2 conversations here.
Right. Moving on to then people who are actually participating. How do we improve the participation side of it rather than the elite side of it?
And we make that more welcoming and more friendly. And by that, I think we make it to having more options of different distances, and having kit that's sort of having races that actually have kit that you can just go along and hire. The bikes are there and you just go, right, I need that bike for that race.
A Boris bike triathlon.
Yeah.
That would be good. You just have a whole bank of Boris bikes. You just grab the first one and off you go. And if it's got a flat tyre, well, you move on to the next one like you do when you're in London. I mean, it's an idea. We could do that for the elites too. You could have them all on the standardised equipment and have a standardised race. That would be interesting too.
We're going off on all sorts of tangents.
We are. What else? We've got my magic wand.
Yeah, we have.
We are.
If we're going to go that magic, then I'm going to make all the bike courses downhill and make the swim longer. But that's just for me.
I mean, there's been quite a lot of discussion about making swims longer. Like in an
Ironman,
in an Ironman, the ratio of a swim to bike to run is actually very skewed, and you should be doing about a 10k swim to make it kind of more.
Okay, I'll bring that back slightly.
She's having second thoughts now. I'm not surprised. What else have we said? Obviously, making it more accessible to everyone. Bringing down the costs of making it open to more people is a goal everyone would like to do. And if you had a magic wand, that's what you would do for triathlon. Also, more environmentally friendly.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that. I mean, it's difficult in our sport because we do tend to travel around the world to participate and to watch sports. But I think race organisers, the more they can do, the more incentives there are for them to make it more environmentally friendly. Then that's got to be great. And that will hopefully also encourage more people to do it, because it might be a barrier to some people. And then I think safety is is one that we do talk about lots and gets highlighted quite a lot. But even simple things like skin safety, like having sunscreen just liberally there. I think I'm still sort of recovering from racing in Abu Dhabi. I've just about got rid of my sunburn. But having some sort of, like, this isn't waving the magic wand, but like instead of, you go through a shower to cool down, but like some sort of automatic spray that just covers your body and makes you safe from that sun.
A sunscreen shower.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm now envisaging dripping sun cream down my face.
In your eyes. That's not going to improve.
Burn, so it's all good.
Okay. Well, I would say probably less focus on results and more focus on enjoyment.
Very holistic.
But I really do think that triathlon's gone a little bit too far the other direction, where it's all about your PB and qualifying for major races and
flat
championships and flat, fast courses. Yeah. Exactly. And it should just be about the experience of being out there for the day in the sun. And with sun cream on. With sun cream on, of course. I do think that is somewhere where triathlon's gone a little bit wrong, where it's all about your next race and it's all about buying faster speed and it's about getting better PBs, etc., carbon shoes, etc. You don't need any of that stuff to enjoy a triathlon, as we've proved here on the channel before. Anyway, we could carry on all day.
Should we finish with the last one?
Okay, one more.
Lower entry fees. Let's stop there.
Unfortunately, I think you probably will need a magic wand to have that. But if you guys have something that you would like to improve about triathlon, we'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Let us know, what is the one thing, if you had a magic wand in the world of triathlon and you could change to improve it, you would do to fix triathlon?
Time for What the Tech, and Canyon are in the news this week, and they have put themselves out there asking for people's opinion on this. They have this concept bike which doesn't really look that much like a bike, other than the fact it has some pedals on it. There are sort of people muttering that it maybe looks slightly similar to a e-vehicle that comes from America, and apparently, after sort of asking for people's ideas and suggestions and impressions on it, that they might regret asking for that, because there's been quite a lot of feedback, I think.
It's not actually available yet. It's just a concept bike, but does look a lot like the Cybertruck, doesn't it? And the Cybertruck is not exactly the most popular vehicle in the world.
No, not at the moment.
Maybe got that one wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's really fun to ride. They do say, who says commuting can't be exciting? I'm not sure what the speed limit is on that.
Yeah, or where your commute might take you. Exactly. You never know.
Oh, it might be exciting, wondering whether the battery's going to last for the ride
Will I make it home, or am I going to have to pedal however heavy that thing is up that last hill?
Yeah, exactly. Also, in tech news this week, I noticed this. The Cybersight HUD, or head-up display, which is actually quite interesting, and I can't believe that it's taken this long for this to be available to market, although I say that it's not actually available to market. It's on Kickstarter. It's Cybersight's HUD Guardian, which are cycling glasses that connect to your bike computer and other devices, your heart rate monitor, etc., to display all your real-time data on your lenses, on your glasses in front of you. So basically a head-up display. Dot navigation, everything, your heart rate, your power, etc. Now, they set a goal of, I think, $2,900, and they've hit $325,000, actually more than that now at the time of this. 1,300 people have backed it. Nearly 500 people have actually paid enough, the $279, that will get you the glasses actually sent to you when they built them. However, it's Kickstarter, so there is no guarantee that they will ever actually build these.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people who have... I mean, I'm surprised that people are putting that much into it when, like you say, I feel like we've sort of spoken about concepts and products that have already been in the making. And, we talk about Form goggles. I mean, they've basically been doing the same thing for a long time. Yes, not taking information from your bike computer, but taking information from your watch.
That's probably why, though, that people are actually willing to back this now, because it's at the point now, technologically-wise, that this should actually be out there and that someone is going to actually do it. The technology exists.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been brought to market in a cycling glasses concept yet. So people are ready for it, and clearly they're willing to part with their money.
Yeah,
they're going to cost $459 when they're actually released. But obviously those early Kickstarters will get them for $279, and there's quite a lot of people who believe that they will be made soon.
Not just that, but also want them. I mean, the demand, they do say that their aim is to improve your safety safety by preventing external environmental risks to the user. I mean, I question that one. You seem quite a fan. I'm sort of on the fence. I need to try it out, but I quite like glancing at my bike computer and then still looking at what's going around.
I can see the argument because bike computers are now so in depth and there's so much data on that screen and they're so high definition. You can see your maps on it and you can see a lot of data. So you do kind of tend to look at it a bit more than you would have in the past. But at the same time, you're going to have to get used to having 3 or 4 numbers in front of your eyes while you're looking every direction and not get distracted by that, because that could be even more dangerous.
I think maybe it's because I just like riding my bike and enjoying it. And then if you're being told that your heart rate's soaring or your power's down here, you can't get away from that. You can't get away from those numbers.
Oh, yeah. Alexa, turn off my heart rate data. It's scaring me.
It's depressing.
Well, it was Easter weekend and there was no triathlon racing, or not on the elite side anyway, this past weekend. So no results to bring you, but we are looking ahead to this coming weekend and quite a few races. Starting with Challenge Gran Canaria, has Johnny Brownlee racing there.
Yeah, starting off his season.
Yeah, moving up to the middle distance. We're looking forward to see how he goes. Challenge Taiwan, the biggest race in the world. Apparently 10,000 athletes competing over the course of the weekend over the various distances. Yeah, it is quite hard to comprehend. A 70.3 Valencia, 70.3 Peru, and then of course the big one that everyone's talking about, Ironman Texas.
Yeah, and I know you guys spoke about it last week. Sadly, since then, there has been a withdrawal on the men's side. Patrick Langer, who was going to be starting his, full distance season, I guess, and looked like he was in good form ramping up to it, has put out this post saying, not the update I was hoping to share, but it's the right one with a long season ahead. Basically saying he's decided to withdraw after more than 3 weeks of pain in my leg and barely any run training. I had an MRI and consulted with medical professionals. Inflammation of the adductor tendon. I mean, that's a new injury, I think, to his list of injuries, but the risk of turning into a long-term issue should be too high. I mean, when he says 3 weeks of no running, I'm not surprised that he's pulling it. But
exactly.
He doesn't need to do it, does he?
It is interesting, though, with the Pro Series. Previously, you'd just be like, oh, well, in a few weeks he'll be going to qualify somewhere else and then we'll see him at the World Champs. And now it's like, well, that really puts him on the back foot for a Pro Series. I mean, it's almost like he's taken himself out of the Pro Series before the Pro Series has really even got started. So it is interesting. Meanwhile, we will have some very exciting racing. Taylor Knibb versus Kat Matthews over the full distance. They've gone head-to-head quite a few times over the middle distance. And Taylor Knibb's beaten Kat Matthews on every occasion there. But you do kind of think that Kat Matthews has done very well in Texas in the past. It kind of is her favourite race and also her favourite distance. So couldn't she get one over
She's pretty
Taylor
close
Knibb here?
to unbeatable, isn't she?
And on the men's side, we're excited to see the return of the Norwegians, Gustav and Christian, to the full distance. And see what kind of form they are in. Both of them were at Oceanside a few weeks ago. Gustav did okay, not quite back to his full form, but obviously he's had a few weeks since then. And Christian was taken out with a puncture.
But had a phenomenal run, didn't he? So
exactly. So exciting to see how they
just sowing the seeds for excitement for this weekend, I think. All right, on to Tri-Spy. And last week, the guys gave you this sketch, this map. I had no idea of where it is.
Actually.
A few of you did. Not that many. We had, it is, should I put you out of your misery? It's Ironman 70.3 Valencia, the bike course, obviously.
Yeah, which is actually coming up this weekend. And that was why, Mark, you chose it, because he was like, there's going to be people who have studied this course map and they're going to know who it is. Rodrigo Davila said, I think the Tri-Spy answer is Valencia 70.3. Bernardo Gross also said 70.3 Valencia, but with a question mark, wasn't sure. But true to form, as Mark predicted, Ciara Atkins said, this bike course is Valencia 70.3. I only know because I'm racing it next weekend.
I mean, that's, good prep. You're, week ahead studying your bike course.
That's what Heather does every time she races.
I mean, I might look at how big's the hill? There's a hill somewhere, but, to know what it looks like.
Wouldn't be able to identify a course.
No, I don't think I would. We're being, in my mind, kinder on you this week because we are going back to the face of a pro and we have this picture for you to guess.
Some clues in that picture there.
I do think we've been quite kind with this one.
Yeah. Say what? Okay, taking a look at some of your comments under some of our videos. Last week, Mark and I did a new Coach's Corner version where, basically we discussed our answers live on camera instead of discussing them in the office and then just presenting our answers to your questions. And you guys seem to quite like that new format. Atlossas said, I like the format. It's nice to see you guys think through your answers. I'm not sure whether they really are being complimentary there. Or whether
I'm not sure what they imply. We usually do, but there's a lot of thought that goes on to the
Alex Walmsley says, love the format. The dream is listening to hours of this per week in a full-on podcast format, but I'll gladly take this for now. I'm not sure how many hours of that you can actually take.
Well,
I appreciate
being
the
very
comment.
well received, isn't it? And we've also just got Casey Wise says, this format is on fire. I'm brand new to triathlon and can Google all kinds of data and opinions and facts. Dialogue format and bouncing from topic to topic is an excellent compliment to my own independent research. So, it's been well received. So hopefully there'll be more of that to come.
Well, there will be more of that to come. If you guys send us some questions, so down below this video or any of our videos, use the hashtag GTN Coaches Corner, and we could be answering your question in a long form format. Mark will be thinking through the answers live on camera for you.
See those cogs wearing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, obviously that video is on screen for you to watch now, but also coming up, it was a couple of weeks ago, I've just about recovered, but I went out to Abu Dhabi for the Challenge Sir Banias race, and we have a video on that coming very soon.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you again next week.